one of the LogCast, which is a podcast that is based in Log Chasers clan. And we're going to be starting this off with the first episode. We have two very special guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves one at a time. So, JT, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm JT. I'm the perma-stuck mid-game Iron Man. I've been playing RuneScape since 2017, so probably a little less than most people. But yeah, I guess what I'm currently grinding right now is I'm finishing off a Ralos hunt from the Coliseum. Hopefully going to get that under rate, spoon it a little bit. And then I'm finishing my Soul Reaper X before I go back to top, so...
Nice, nice, nice. We also have Friend here. Friend, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, good morning. I am also an Iron Man, more in the end game. A bit of a boomer. I've been playing pretty much since the start of Iron Man. But yeah, I post YouTube videos similar to LGR, but I post them maybe like twice a year, maybe 3 times a year if you're lucky. Currently grinding pets, got 51 out of 63, and yeah.
Nice, nice, cool. So, as you know, my name is LGR. I am also an Iron Man. We should probably get a main on here in the future. A little bit biased right now,
Nah.
but that's all good. And I'm also an Iron. I am working on pets as well. Currently working on Titans and Omelet Pet. Going a little dry on both of those, which is unfortunate. And in game, I'm currently killing Hell Giants for big bones. I don't know what are you guys doing in game right now?
I'm at Soul Runes,
Oh yeah,
like 40 mil XP here, having fun or something.
going for the pet or going for Soul-Runes?
Mostly the pet, but I mean, you can't say no to these Soul Runes. I have almost a mil so far. Probably should last the rest of my life, I hope.
Cool, cool, cool. How about you, JT?
I'm just cooking crumblons.
Nice. Good idea.
Based.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I guess we can go to this first topic right away. But before I do so, I just want to mention, if you are interested for collection logging, this clan Log Chasers has all the collection log gamers. And the requirement right now is 900 clog to join. That will increase to 1,000 in July, however. Or actually, no, it's in April that increases to 1,000.
It's 1 April, yeah.
But people will be grandfathered in to meet the requirement by July if they join prior. So, yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that. I will be leaving the Discord link to join the clan in the description. So, okay. So we'll go straight to the first topic. So, Runefest was actually yesterday. And they announced a lot of stuff in that specific event. And I had a few buddies that were there in person, sending me some pictures and telling me how it was going. I was supposed to go, but I bailed last minute, which I kind of regret now, but it's all good. So the first topic I wanted to talk about here was Varlamore Part 3. Now, they did talk about the 12 boss, and I hope I said that correctly. The new Slayer NPC, fletching minigame, apparently a new crab boss, which that was new to me from yesterday, and some new quests. So, I don't know if one of you would like to, maybe we can start with the 12 bosses, because that is considered an endgame update, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's, I think, tailored towards people who are either going for or have their Infernal Cape, so similar to that skill level, which excites me a lot.
Okay, so that's kind of high skill level then.
Yeah, yeah.
That should be fun. And they also talked about the fletching minigame, which I thought it was kind of weird that like you have to use bows for it, but I guess it kind of makes sense. I have no bows in the bank, so that'll suck for me at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that looks like as far as getting bowstring. I hope it self sustains a little bit. I mean, that's just my Iron Man bias because I don't want to have to like go do temple trekking to get bowstrings.
I don't think bowstring would be an issue. You can get like 5,000 an hour doing the spell if you have the flax in the bank from Zora. I wouldn't be too worried about that. It'll just be. I hope you don't need too many. You know, I don't want to have to spend like 10 hours making bowstrings and then.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I thought they were going to go down the path like recently where, like Guardians of the Rift, Wintertot, stuff like that, where you go in with pretty much nothing and you're able to get like solid XP rates and stuff. That's what I thought it would be. But I'm interested that they're taking a different path there. I thought it would be a good thing for, like your early game Iron Man that really don't have anything at all. but I don't know. Kind of hoped it would be that way instead of using your own supplies.
I mean, it makes sense to use your own supplies. You don't want like level 3s rushing, like level 3 UIMs rushing 99 fletching off the rip. But then again, fletching is, except for like making your first rune crossbow, it's not that useful.
Yeah.
I guess
It
we'll
looks
see.
like I'm looking at it right now. It's interesting. It looks like I don't know if you need bows, but the concept looks like you're gathering logs, and based on the tier that you gather, the better the totem that you create will be, and then you whittle that log into a pole, and you're making a decision of which animal you want to represent in these totems. And you can either fletch strung or unstrung bows, crossbow stocks, shields. So yeah, so I mean it looks like it's more than just bows that you can use. You can use unstrung, strung, or crossbow stocks or shields. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see what that looks like when it comes out. I'm definitely gonna go for green log. I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah, if you guys, so just kind of hop back to the Delve boss because there's no way we're just gonna like skip over that and talk about a
Sure.
fletching minigame
I
longer
don't know
than
what to say.
an end game. Have you guys seen like the concept art for that thing? That thing looks sweet.
I saw the picture that someone posted in Discord. It looked really nice, but
Yeah,
I don't know
it's like
much more besides for that.
a Din's bulwark kind of thing. So I'm curious to what kind of like defense mechanism it's going to utilize. Uh, I don't know. It looks really cool. I'm just so excited. I love the art concept for it. It looks just kind of twisted and like maniacal. So
Wasn't that the like bug boss or something from yesterday's reveals at Runefest?
I just
I didn't
posted
really
it
see.
in the channel.
Oh, okay.
If you want to look at the concept art,
Oh
have they
damn.
solidified on what the rewards are going to be, or we still haven't touched that yet?
I don't know. I think they talked about rewards for Varlamore Part 3, but I didn't know they. I don't recall what the rewards are for the dwarf bosses. Do you know, friend?
Yeah, they took them all back. I'm pretty sure because they released like 4 different iterations of it, and no one could really agree on what they wanted. Like, I don't know. There was a big discussion about Jagex and how they propose their rewards. I know almost everyone was unhappy with how it was presented. So at the moment, I don't think we really have anything from the Delve boss that's confirmed. I think the boots were like the least hated, I guess. I know a lot of people liked them, but
I
like the
wish they would have
magic
just
item.
like went with their original proposal. Make the magic item tradable. That it's not their intent isn't for it to be the best cape forever. They want to do a better, untradable cape. Um, it doesn't require Mage Arena 2, so I don't know. I liked the personally, and I don't know if I'm just being a sweat, but I really enjoyed like the first iteration of it. Because I mean, if you learn the content and you can abuse early, abuse often, you can make a lot of money and it's good for alts and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I was
That's true.
excited. I think boot glue is like the coolest thing that they could have possibly added. I don't give a fuck about the cape. I just want boot glue.
They were arguing about untradable versus tradable cape, right? I remember that for a while.
Yeah,
Just make it
the
tradable,
mains.
man. Who cares,
Yeah, the
right?
mains wanted to profit, so I'm
And
cool with that.
if it's tradable, people are more likely to not pay for services. They're just gonna buy the cape straight off the GE. Like, who really cares?
Yeah, as long as they do plan on making that new best in slot untradeable cape in the future, like something Inferno level, then I'm cool with it being tradable for sure. Like while we wait for that.
Or even give it like a 2% upgrade at like max delve. You have a chance like a 1 in 50 every time you continue to like repeat like the final level. You get a 1 in 50 roll of an upgrade for that item. I don't know. Like I think there's like other ways that you can do it to make it to still incorporate it into this content. But I like the idea of this really good cape that's tradable for GP. It's really good for main accounts.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a fan of the boot glue, by the way. I think it's called something else, like a Vernic something. I don't remember what the name
It's
is,
called boot glue.
but it's a boot glue, yeah. I know, like some of my buddies were arguing that it's not a quality of life and it's like OP, but honestly, like not having to do switches, like an extra switch for everything, is just such a cool quality of life. Especially with the rings now, you have to always do like a 9-way if you want to be efficient, and the 9-ways are just like, unless you're doing like vertical switches, which I don't do. I do horizontal switching. So like anything above an 8-way is just awkward to switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan
I
of
don't
Double
know.
Glue.
I
He's so
like the
good.
idea of it just for, the quality of life, but it seems so private server. Like one item being your bis for all styles. I know we had Barrow's gloves, but that's like
That's old.
20 years old,
Yeah.
but it seems weird, but I
I don't
voted
know.
yes.
Yeah, I would vote yes too. It's like it's one of those things where we have so many different boots now. We have the Arania boots for people like doing Sarachnis, and we have the Echo boots. We have too many boots. Okay, if you can combine all the BIS boots for what we have right now, like I'd be okay with that. And not just because it's the first boot. I think that like gives range strength because pegs don't give range strength, do they?
They don't know, just a bit of
Useless,
accuracy.
useless boots.
hmm
So. But yeah, excited for the Delve boss. I'm really excited for more challenging content. I know you said you hadn't seen the crab boss before. They had like I think they had mentioned it on Reddit or something like that, which is where they initially got the idea of like this group AFK melee training. Um, but it looks so weird to me, like the gemstone crab. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, they said on Runefest like the top 16 players get drop potential, but like, I mean, are we gonna get uniques from that, or is it just for experience? Like, I don't understand.
I don't really know their direction because I remember when they initially pitched it and they explained it as it's just straight up like an ammonite crab, but you're all fighting it. So like in my mind, it's geared towards those people that have just auto retaliate on for 10 minutes
Just want to
and
AFK.
just go AFK. Yeah, and that's what I thought it would be. But when they explained it yesterday, they're talking about like sepulcher-esque like dodging things and like agility levels. Like this is no longer an AFK thing. This is just straight up just a boss. So I think it just lost most of its, you know, interest already. I mean, for me at least. Like I'm not gonna fight it regardless, but I thought it was just gonna be an AFK thing.
Yeah, because I don't think their intent is to have any like unique items. It's just if you get if like you get MVPs. I think there's like a handful of them, and you get just gems. Like I didn't
Okay,
think there was any loot association outside just gems.
so it's just a low-level boss to help people train, kind of like Curious, but more AFK once you get there. Kind of like shooting stars, essentially. Find it, you just AFK. Huh, I guess we'll see what it is.
Yeah, I'd say that my biggest anticipation from that entire announcement yesterday, because it felt honestly like I was pretty pissed like the first half hour, because it felt like they were just reading the blogs we've been reading for the past 6 months. Like I'm not enthused about that because I felt like it was just like they were biding time and like they were announcing things to RS3 players, not to old school players. But the new quests, I love Moded. That dude he cracks me up every time he starts announcing something. I'm excited.
hmm
The new like Grandmaster quest line for the Meyer key is like I'm so excited.
Yeah, he was really funny on Runefest, Moded. He did a good job there.
He's a very good presenter rather. I know in the past he's been really good at this. I know other JMOds get some flack about their presentation, but Ed really he goes all out. He's super good at what he does.
Yeah, also for like Runefest, I actually completely forgot that like RuneScape 3 was in Runefest. I was like looking at certain things and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh, SARS 3. But yeah, makes sense now. But so we skipped a little bit over. Where were we? So okay, so that was Varlamore Part 3. There was also the new quest, which we talked about already. Okay, so I guess the other thing they mentioned at RuneFest was the mobile quality of life, and I know a lot of my friends are very excited about this, like Bort. They talked about adding HD to mobile, but they also talked about letting players build their own plugins, which is kind of cool. It's a good start. I think they should have allowed this for like a long time ago, in my opinion, but it's all good. So with that, we will be able to see plugins that are on RuneLite be essentially transferred over to mobile, like Quest Helper, for example. And the way that Jagex explained it in the RuneFest, it'll allow their plugin makers to be able to pull directly from RuneScape API, so you'll be able to get the most accurate information for your plugins, which is kind of cool. Like I'm thinking for corpse specking, if you hit a 0 on your arc light, it'll still tell you if you hit or if you miss. But besides for that, I'm excited for it because I do play mobile a lot. I play mobile when I'm not at home, and I do things that are mostly AFK, like grinding clue scrolls or doing hunter rumors. So for me, that's a cool update. I don't know about you guys. What do you think about it?
No, Greg. All right,
you want
to go? No. So as far as like mobile goes, I'm a big. So if I play on mobile, I'm usually like on my iPad because playing on my phone, I don't do games on my phone. I find it annoying and it's not for me. But for iPad, I find it really nice and convenient. My only concern when I see this, oh, we're gonna give you guys like API for plugin creation and like all this stuff. The only thing I'm seeing, the only thing I'm getting out of this is RuneLight will be gone in the next 2 years. Because I think there's so many bots and things that are built off of RuneLight forks that it's hard to differentiate for Jagex to like if people are botting through them. So I think once they go to their official client, that'll remove a lot of the botting issues that they have. So putting all of these plugins that that's the real allure of RuneLight onto their client, which is pretty okay. Like it's not bad. I think will remove their need to appease players by allowing RuneLight to still be used.
I guess
I mean,
that
if
is
you
a
look at
potential
RS3,
risk.
they can't use any external things. They don't have RuneLight. They can only use their client.
So your fear is that this is like a bridge to RuneLight getting potentially removed in the future. Once
Oh yeah, 100%. I for sure believe that.
that's very scary. I hope they never remove RuneLight. It's such a cool tool.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a couple years because they've been doing this whole client upgrade thing for a long time, and I knew like in the back of my head like this is gonna be what eventually kills RuneLight. I think it's got maybe more than 2 years left, but it's definitely its lifespan's coming to an end. Like ever since Jagex like took RuneLight and put it on the launcher, I think that was like, yep, there's a short amount of time left on it, but um, it's good for mobile. I don't play a lot of mobile, so this doesn't impact me too much. But I know some players that like only play mobile and they're very limited, or at least they used to be pretty limited on what they can do. And anytime I've used it, I've preferred like just remote desktoping onto my desktop and then using the RuneLight plugins from there, mostly for like the 25-minute login thing, but also for all the other RuneLight plugins, like for leagues and stuff. That's what I did, but I'm happy to see they're pulling it into mobile. And the guy that's running it too seems pretty smart. He knows what he's talking about, so seems pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Have either of you actually played on their new client?
No, but I've heard it's still subpar compared to RuneLight.
Well, if you compare like the all of the options and the accessibility that RuneLight offers with its default plugins, yeah, I mean it's kind of piss poor, but like the performance on it is fantastic. Like playing RuneScape in an actual like 140 frames is kind of interesting. It's weird to explain, but the game just looks more crisp for sure. So I have hopes about that, but I do have my reservations, like I said, with them just binning RuneLight together. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, time will tell. Um, as long as I don't remove RuneLight, I guess everything's fine. Everything's fine. Um, hopefully the players are very vocal about not RuneLight not getting removed. Because like the fact that we have RuneLight is such a blessing in this game. Like the tool is free. There's no pay to win. The plugins are all available except for like the botting ones, of course, which shouldn't be available. But that is the consequence where you have plugins that are essentially like considered bots that people can download externally and use, which might make it unfair. But overall, I love RuneLight. I remember using OS Buddy, Conduit. I think it was before that as well.
Yeah, Conduit.
Good
Yep.
days. And it was fun, like tracking your experience, but it was so bare bones compared to today. The plugins we have nowadays are like actually cracked, insane. And, I hope we never lose that. Honestly, it's too good. But enough with mobile. Maybe we can get a mobile gamer on in a future podcast and talk about mobile. Okay, so the next topic here is sailing. So they presented that Sailing Alpha is going to be releasing in March. which we're in March now, so I'm assuming end of March. And they said that we expect the beta to be at the end of this year, which honestly is much earlier than what I expected. I thought sailing would be in 2026. I had a buddy at Runefest that played sailing a little bit, and he told me that overall he liked it, but it still has a lot of work to be done. So I don't know if it's written in the blogs or anything, but he essentially explained to me how speedrun trials seem fun, the cargo tasks are very boring, and the salvaging is a super AFK option to train. So I guess, I don't know if it's good or not. I have to try it for myself to make my own opinion, but they have something currently being worked on and presentable at Runefest and playable, which is cool. I don't know what you guys think about sailing. I know, Greg, you spoke about sailing at the Cast. I think you had a really good view on it, so maybe I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with sailing, and I guess I might get attacked by that. I was logged in while they were talking about it, and I was just like reading the clan chat, and then it doesn't seem like anybody is interested in it at the moment. But I think that mainly comes from what they've presented us so far, and they've showed us very bare bones like mechanics, and obviously that's not going to look appealing at all. You gotta take it with an open mind and understand that this is a multi-year project. But yeah, I thought this would take at least another additional year before we have this in our hands. But I'm excited. I said before that I think the J mods that are working on it are super passionate, and they're only going to provide what they think is the best possible version of sailing that they can provide. So I'm confident in them, like Husky, Elena. I know they have made some great stuff in the past, and I'm fully on board with it. So I'm very interested to play it at the end of the month.
Cool. JT?
No, I want to hear your opinion, LGR.
I honestly think that if they re-pulled a new skill today, it would fail. But ignoring that, I think the team is committed. They have to commit to the new skill. They promised it to the executives. They have to do it. Personally, for me, I don't think it's worth the risk. I think they should just scrap the new skill and instead make it an expansion or a mini game where you can still sail around the world and explore new areas, but not as a skill, as a mini game or maybe like I don't know what else. But as long as it's not a new skill, but it's not gonna stop me from. I'm not gonna start crying about it. Like, I think they could still do something good. And one point that I really liked from someone in the CC, and I don't remember who it was, but they were explaining how Zaya on release was really, really bad, but it took them a lot of iterations over time, and now Zaya is at a very good place compared to what it was on release. So I have a feeling.
After like 4 years, dude.
Yeah, but maybe they'll work faster this time.
Nice.
But maybe
I don't know. I'm like super anti-sailing. I don't know how to explain it other than like, sure, I think Zaya is such a terrible comparison. Hands down, I think that's like is you're comparing a rock and a tomato. Like Zaya isn't locking people out of their max capes. It's not something that you're going to be forced to interact with. Like there are going to be metas that involve utilizing sailing. I can almost guarantee it. And I think if it's dog shit, it's gonna feel bad. You're gonna feel forced. It's gonna be crappy to interact with it, but you're going to be forced to do so. I didn't think that Zaya like had any interactions that sucked that forced you to interact with them, right? Because there was no collection log back when that came out and stuff like that. I think that I don't know, man. I like RuneScape in its current state. I think it's a great game, and I agree with Greg in the sense that I believe that like I have full faith in Husky. He gave us Sepulcher, okay, and that's one of the best pieces of content I've ever touched as far as skilling goes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of trust in anybody who can create something like that. But on the other hand, I don't know, man. I don't know if Jagex's version or the dev team's version of like the best version of sailing is still going to equate to something good enough that should be in the game long term. That's my concern.
Yeah, I feel that. What do you think about it if it wasn't a skill, like LJR mentioned, if it was just a huge content release like Zaya was?
I would like that personally. I don't know about you, JT.
I'm so sorry. I was reading a message. What'd you say?
If sailing was just a content release instead of a skill.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool. It'd be cool to interact with it, but I mean, what allure would it have other than like I guess you can get collection logs for different boat cosmetics or um I don't see sailing coming into the game other than a skill. I don't want to see it as a mini game. I don't want to see it. Then it's to me, it's just wasted dev time. We just wasted Husky's time for a year and a half, 2 years to have this nonsense just end up being a mini game. Like that's a new devs should be making mini games. It would be such a slap in the face, I think, for it to end up as nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it'll end up as a new skill regardless. I think the team is quite adamant on that.
Yeah, I don't think it can go back. Like when you think about management and like everyone above those J mods, I think they have to reach these dates by now. Like it's already set in stone. They can't take this back at all.
Now that they announced it's committed. At the end of
Yep.
this year, we're gonna get sailing.
I just hope it's good, dude. That's all.
Me too.
Honestly, like
I'm so nervous.
I'm coping so hard that it's just like good for clues, and then I don't care if the content's bad or not. I'll just do it for clues and have fun, opening my caskets afterwards. But maybe that's just Iron Man coping mentality.
Yeah, I got nothing for that, man. I'm just cross my fingers and hoping it's good. That's all. I wish I had like this fearless optimism that people have with the new skill. I wish I had more Reddit in me.
Are you sure about that?
Well, for some aspects,
good and bad.
I still want to be able to construct a full sentence.
I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'll play the beta. I'll just like with the run energy changes. I'll play it in all aspects that I think it'll impact things. I just like I said, I hope it's good.
Yeah, I explained this in I think in the Sebe cast. Like, I think there's a risk here where if sailing doesn't hit the mark, it could be bad for the future of the game. But at the same time, if sailing does hit the mark, it could be a really good thing for the game. So that is a risk that we'll be taking, like consensual or not. Like it's gonna happen. So hopefully we're on the right side of the coin.
Yeah, and I think another concern that I have as far as just like the Jagex game development as a whole is that as we keep looking at these leagues, right, and their concept of league success, and they keep mentioning is player number, player number, player number. I feel like that's such a. I mean, it's not a bad metric to utilize, but there's such thing as market saturation. So my fear is that like at the end of the day, how many people are still investing a lot of their time into MMOs that take a long time to get involved into? Like, no offense, but Leagues is still RuneScape at the end of the day. Leagues progression still takes a long time. There are grinds on there that take people weeks. It does happen. So, I hope that the game developers keep developing content that's for the people that have played super long instead of just trying to get the player numbers or the concurrent player count up, 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 and up. So,
I have a very controversial opinion about leagues. I think leagues is good for the game in the short term, but bad for the game in the long term. You're diluting your player base towards temporary game modes. But maybe I'm in the minority here. I know you guys both like leagues a lot, so.
I don't think you're in the minority there. I know a lot of people that only play for leagues and will just like quit after that.
Same.
I mean, I look at the whole league's Discord, and that's probably like 70% of the people in there, and it's a huge Discord. But yeah, I'm super biased, obviously, with leagues. I do like it from more recent leagues. They've been getting a little more creative with what they put in them, like the Echo bosses in the last one showed some new mechanics that we've really never seen before, and I think from that perspective, leagues could be good for the game if they incorporate these mechanics and stuff into the main game. Also, stackable clues. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but that was a leagues thing initially and a big topic too. So I think in that regard, it brings some good stuff to the table there.
Echo bosses were a chef's kiss. Oh my god! Like I can't show enough appreciation for that. Like everything Echo Boss was just fun. And granted, like there was definitely some aspects of it, like Coliseum, where if you didn't have like the increased attack speed from leagues, like it would definitely be spicy. but not impossible. So like, did you do Mori at all, Greg?
Yeah, I did.
The echo of like Grotesque Guardians, if that was the original fight, it would be amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Like the meta of it ended up being like a 2-tick attack and keep moving, which I think kind of took away from some of the mechanics. Like when I was grinding it for the items, I kind of just turned my brain off and just know to keep moving. There were all these cool mechanics happening around me, but I never really focused in on like what they were. It's just like I'm dodging them by doing like brain dead moving. But I think some of the other ones were more intuitive. I know Echo Soul was awesome. But yeah, I would love to see more of those mechanics added to the main game for future bosses.
Yeah, I definitely think there's positive aspects for leagues with trying some things out that are just absolutely bananas. To like see how the players receive it. I think my least favorite part of leagues is the fact that it keeps bringing up this stackable clues debate. It's very annoying to me. But other than that, I think the one downside, because I can see your perspective as well, LGR, because I have a buddy who actually quit the game entirely because of leagues, and now he only comes back during leagues to try out all the content that he hasn't played in the last like year and a half. Because he's like, well, I'll get to experience it in leagues anyway, and then I don't have to spend weeks doing it. I can just spend a few days doing it because of leagues. Um, so I think there are losses to leagues, but overall, I think it's more positive than it is negative for sure.
I also laughed really hard when they announced leagues for RS3. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what that's gonna look like.
I can't wait to max in 14 minutes.
Pretty much.
I mean, I guess that's a good thing that the main RuneScape is copying what Old School is doing. It just shows how like the game is doing okay. But yeah, thought it was cool.
I mean, to me, I see RS3 as just like, let's grab everyone's money as soon as possible. And the leagues was the exact same way. I'm like, okay, they're just gonna spike their player count for 2 months and just take a lot of bond money, and that's pretty much it. But I don't know. I'm not an RS3 player. I don't know what their thoughts are on it, but seems cool maybe.
Well, leagues talk in general. I think the next thing that I would say we should kind of talk about is if you think about leagues and the temporary game modes. I know they talked about a little bit of Project Zerys at Runefest as well. They kind of gave like some examples of like weird game modes that they did. I don't know, whatever. Like that whole skit was to me was annoying. But what are you guys' thoughts on Project Zerys? Because personally, I think there could be positives to it. As a content consumer, not or a content creator, I think like Solo Mission is my example here. He did that like week-long kind of dead man mode-esque team-based thing, and I loved every second of that content. It was so much fun to watch.
I mean, I didn't like Project Xanderus at first, but I do think it'll provide good content for people. Like the Rat King idea that they showed at Runefest was kind of cool. Like I wouldn't see myself grinding that for like weeks to try to get a PB though, but I do think it's a cool concept for maybe certain players to push the limit of what record they can get and so on. I think it'll give us good content. I probably won't really touch it though, but maybe I will. Who knows? But I'm not necessarily excited for it either.
Yeah. My opinion on it has changed quite a bit throughout the iterations of it. I've always thought it's going to be great for a content perspective. Like the YouTube and Twitch scene is going to benefit greatly from this. Any amount of customization to the main game is going to increase viewership. Like everyone loves leagues, and I think people like Deadman content. I know I do. So having Project Zerys is probably going to be good for that. My concern mainly lies with how they like police it. Because I said this in a Say Big Cast, but before playing Old School, I played private servers for like 8 years. So like I'm super familiar with how they run and stuff. And if it goes anything like that, it's gonna turn into a lot of like real world trading and like, hey, if you toss me $50, I'll give you like max stats on my secret game mode sort of thing. So I don't know how they intend on doing like administrative duties on those games. Like if the person who made it has full access to everyone's accounts and stuff like that, I don't know. But I'm scared that it's gonna have some negative implications.
But I guess in
That's
a way it
fair.
will kill private servers, which might be a good
Which
thing.
is good.
Yeah.
It should. Because those are just like some random dude opening it up and like, hey, if you give me $100, I'll give you like this custom sword that hits 20,000 or something.
I know private servers are sketchy. I did a few years of that before old school RuneScape was a thing.
We used to play Moparscape in school.
Yeah, I played that too. I played another one that was really popular too. There was like a lime whip I had spent like so long to grind that. What was
The
it
lime
called?
whip.
That was like the best. There was like a bunch of different iterations of the whip, and that was the best one. It was like super expensive.
The as a clan leader and like somebody who hosts events, I'm ecstatic. I think it could be so fun. If it costs me like $30 and for a month, I can divvy out like we have like 85 people sign up for it and I can make teams of like 5 people or something like that, or 80 people sign up and I have teams of like 8 people and I can divvy them out into different teams and then all of these people can join the server, or like they get 3 different worlds and at the end of that month we can have like an all out like free for all. Whoever, I don't know. It's like our own little in-house dead man mode as like a clan event. It just sounds so fun. I don't know the allure of it, and I don't know how popular it would be, but the concept of it really does give me some level of excitement. So overall, I'm excited.
I'm excited for Solo Mission though. He's gonna be cranking up some crazy content from that.
Oh yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We skipped one, which was the summer sweep up. They talked about blood runes for like a second, which was kind of weird. I was not expecting that, and they also talked about like elemental weaknesses changes, which I didn't know they were gonna do more changes. Uh, I mean, I think they mentioned new blood rune sources, and they talked about a new potential boss dropping blood runes. I was a little confused about that.
I think the intent of like their mention of the summer sweep up as a whole was to just talk about like some rebalances and stuff like that. Like changing halberds was one thing that they wanted to do. They wanted to make halberds have either a longer distance so you could attack like Zulrah, and attack things in the air as well. So I don't know what the blood rune thing came from either. It seemed like they accidentally clicked on a Reddit post from like 2021 and was like, "Oh my god, people really need blood runes." I think the Scar kind of solved that for Iron Man, and people stopped giving a shit. And yeah, I mean, elemental weaknesses. I'm all for changing up the way the game is played a little bit. Giving people the elemental weaknesses was probably one of my favorite things that they added because it definitely changed like your early game or things can people do like seeing somebody like fire wave a task or earth wave a task now isn't absurd. It's not just silliness that you're seeing. It actually could be better DPS than meleeing the task or whatever. So I like the concept. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it gives good variety as long as it's not like destroys the shadow and makes like breaks the meta or something. I don't necessarily see an issue either. Like I think for like Earth Wave is good for like adamant dragons or something, but it's not better than Shadow. It's just like a good alternative if if you don't have a Shadow, for example. So stuff like that is cool. Gives a niche to lower level players that don't want to necessarily dump a bill on a mega rare. Um, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm not nor against it or for it. I just think it's a good thing overall. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job as far as like elemental weaknesses. Like for example, the twin flame staff. Like that thing is so cool to me. I don't know. I think it's really interesting that you can just put all elemental runes uh, in your inventory and just go around and click random things, and it'll automatically pick whatever elemental weakness that thing has, and it'll just cast that spell. I think it's really neat.
It's a cool item.
Just the creativity that they're coming up with for some of these new items is really cool.
And you gotta give them credit. It's not easy to find a new item to release in this game. It's old. There's so much in it already.
Oh, for sure.
That staff is a really cool idea. I like that staff for the. I like the Titans actually as well.
I hope you do. You've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling myself that I'll enjoy it until 3,000 kill count. Then afterwards, I'll start complaining. But overall, that piece of content is actually, they did a really good job. I was surprised to hear that Mod Manked worked on that one.
Me too.
I was like,
I mean,
really?
no
What?
offense to him, but like he cooked on this one, and his partner, I forget, Mod Daizong, I think they work together on a lot of stuff.
You mean Mod Rathmall?
Yeah,
Fucking
yes.
Rathma, bro.
We can forget that happened. I mean, I want to forget
Yeah,
it
my bad,
happened.
my
Yeah,
bad.
actually, you know what? Honestly, the Titans release kind of, we can null them both. You know, they cancel out. He made up for it. But yeah, that Rathma situation was a meme, dude. Oh
Mhm.
gosh, that was
Yeah,
embarrassing.
I'm a big fan of the duo boss thing. I thought I was not gonna like it. I have some reservations, but the whole duo like incentivizing, very cool. Big fan. Excited with that new duo boss coming up too. I think the rewards there is really good, and I'm excited for what this kind of entails.
Yeah, people were complaining about like Titans being potentially dead content later on when like no one wants to do it, but I'm still finding teams relatively easy. But maybe it's because like
Give
we're
it
in
a
a
few
quite small
years.
clan, so maybe that helps. But I don't know.
And you're thinking from just our perspective, right? Like just like straight pet hunting. Don't care about items. Like it's gonna be dead just for us.
I guess, yeah.
But
They
I think
could
that's fair too. I think it should be dead because it's not meant for us anyway.
it could die, and the if so let's look at this from perspective as let's assume it does die, right? In 2 years. One simple fix removes the fear of it being dead. All you have to do is let solo players loot both sides of it, and you've solved the problem.
Oh,
And
that's a
that's
good
something that
point.
they can do years down the road. That would solve like people not being able to find teams for that. So
Because you kill twice as slow, but you get double the loot, so it'll
yep,
compensate. Yeah,
yep.
that's actually a really good solution. Don't need that now, but
Yeah, if
cool.
they had that now, it would just instantly make it a solo boss right off the bat. But maybe in the future they could do that. Yeah.
I'd still duo it, but if I found no one, I would solo it, that's for sure. Huh, cool. Good idea. So I guess that segues nice into the next mention from the Runefest, which was Yama Boss, which I was not expecting that whatsoever, by the way. And seeing Mod Arcane presented too was gave me a big smile in the face. I don't know about you guys. Um,
Yeah, I associate him and Husky. If they're working on something, I know it's going to be good.
yeah, I agree with that. So they didn't really mention that much in the Runefest, but they did release a blog right after. So what we know so far is it's considered an endgame boss, whatever that means, and it has some really crazy rewards. I was glancing over it. I didn't really spend too much time, but they were talking about potions to restore your spec energy instantly. I believe it was 30% spec. You can sip once every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's 25%.
It's 25%, which is really cool. They also mentioned about Death Charge giving you double spec. Oh, that's why I got confused. Death Charge giving you double spec would be 30%. And they also mentioned Slash Torva. I don't know if there's something else. Did I miss something? Do you guys know?
Yeah, so there's also the death charge upgrade. I don't know if you said that.
I did.
Did you? Okay, yeah, so the death charge upgrade. They also have abyssal worms, and then the cosmic catalyst. And then the soul flame horn, which is what I am the most excited about. I think it's gonna be so cool.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Uh
that.
yeah. And then they're attempting to add a mining like thing to also like have a profitable skilling method come from this new content too.
Yeah, I don't know
Fair
about you
enough.
guys, but the horn, I'm not. I know you mentioned it, JT, but the horn, I'm not too keen about. I think it's gonna be
What?
really weird for the meta.
What?
I think it's a simple meta though. Like I'm just thinking
What?
of Tob. Like you have one guy with the horn while you're running in on the same tile. You click it, and then everyone's just gonna hit their first spec.
Yeah, good for the
Seems that easy.
hammers. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking about like 5 people bring the horn. They alternate horning in like a certain sequence, kind of like how you do Hado Tob. Like everyone has a specific tick they have to click their horn for optimal DPS. But maybe I'm just like too sweaty. and I shouldn't be thinking that
Like,
way.
that sounds awesome to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
What?
you just described something amazing. I don't know.
mean, it'll be
I think
amazing
it's
for
gonna be
speed
so
running. I'll
cool.
give you that, but I don't want to have to count ticks to click a horn. You know. But
I don't
that's
know.
just me.
Think about like as long as I think my only concern with it is as long as there's like no what's the word I'm looking for?
Delay or something like.
No, my brain, dude.
Nice.
As long as you can't like use there's gonna be like weird as long as you can only use it on Iron Men in an instance or something like that. Because here's my concern is I would hate for Iron Man Slayer to get rid of barraging and now your Necreal tasks, you have to have 8 different accounts that are constantly horning you so
Oh,
that
gosh.
you can chally over and over and over and over again.
You mean like alting basically for irons?
Yeah, I don't want it to become like Altscape because like think about it, your melee attack has 100% accuracy. Like imagine like challying that or like Din's. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's like so many different things you could do that I think would be able to be abused that I worry might become meta for Iron Man Slayer. Like that's my only concern because it's not just increase the what's it called? It's not just special attacks, right? It's melee attacks,
Yeah,
right?
melee.
So if you don't need to be specking, it just means you're 100% going to hit a melee attack. So I don't know.
Like
I'm a
imagine like the
little.
abyssal dagger, you spec 4 times, you have an alt horn you, so you get like giga DPS for like 4 specs. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, I
that
don't
could be
like that.
awkward.
That annoys me.
Didn't they
That's my
mention
only
that irons
concern.
might not be able to benefit from it? I hope they don't do. If they do release it, I hope they don't make that change because that would be a little awkward. Because then for Team Con, then mains would never want to raid with irons. Which
Well, I
they
mean, that's already
don't.
kind of how it
Already
is.
like that, but yeah, it's gonna get a lot worse.
It'll just be worse, yeah. I mean, I can still raid with mains, but it's harder, you know.
Yeah. If they limited the use of that, it could be good. I mean, the only thing I think of right now is Tob, but I'm sure there's other stuff that I can't think of right now. But
Or they have to add like a significant delay where you can only get horned like once every 5 minutes or something. So then it's not like you don't need 7 alts. Like 1 alt is fine. I mean, that would be cool for like I guess chambers. You horn, dump your specs, so that way there's less RNG with your hammers. But, yeah. I like
That's
the double
cool.
death charge. I liked the spec pod. I think it's kind of cool. I guess you have to. I hope they make those potions like untradeable. That would be kind of cool.
They are.
But they are.
They are. Yep.
Oh, that's sick. Sit mains.
yeah, 81 Herblore too, so
That's
get
not
trained.
too bad. Expected worse.
Yeah, it says you'll need 81 Herblore, some demonic tallow, and a torsal to make a surge potion for yourself, and you'll need a drop of your own blood to make the magic happen. The sanguine secondary means you'll be making a brew tailored to you, so these potions are untradeable, though all of the ingredients except for your blood are tradable.
Okay, so mains can just buy the ingredients and make them themselves, but
Correct.
they still have to make it themselves. They can feel what being an Iron Man is.
I know they hate that.
They for sure gonna mold, but
Have you guys looked into the Cosmic Soul combination runes? Like where
Yeah,
the
I
uses are for
saw-
that?
I know
Yeah.
Wiki was talking about for like his clue setup, he saves an inventory space.
You'll save an inventory space in Tob too for Death Charge.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
kinda
it's
cool.
Thrall's Death Charge combo. You have no runes outside your pouch anymore, which is a
I
nice
thought
thing.
it was. Oh, you're right, because it's cosmic and. Oh yeah. Oh, so that
Yeah.
is cool then.
You also save an inventory at Muspa for greater corruption and stuff like that. Since that's souls as well. Right? Or can you keep it all in one pouch?
You can keep it
Yeah,
in one.
Well,
You
you
can,
probably
you
want to
can.
have thralls anyways for Muspa, so I guess I'm not sure. I'm not an Arceus.
Oh yeah, you don't Death Charge there because you're just auto resetting anyway.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, that's true. Now you do that.
Also, the Death Charge thing, it's not like a double. It's not 30% in one spell, but it's just you can get 2 Death Charges in a minute. So it's something like I don't know, like Vardorvis. I think I watched a No Monkey video, so I'm somewhat of an expert myself on this. But if you're killing one boss, you don't really see any benefit unless you're killing it very fast. But you can, like in the Baba room, as an example, you can get 30% spec off killing 2 monkeys. So it has some nice uses.
Be nice at Coliseum too.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's cool. I thought it was like flat 30%, but you actually get 15% per enemy. So you can cast it every 30 seconds instead of a minute, basically.
It'd be nice for your rangers at Tob.
Yeah, a lot of use of Tob, a lot of use of Baba. But I think the cast is 1 minute, and then you just get 2 procs of it.
Okay, that's cool. All right, then afterwards, I guess, should we move on, or anything else you guys want to discuss here?
Have you looked into the soul armor at all? Because I mean, I know you don't have Torva, so this could be big for you.
I know. I was reading Greg. He was mentioning, not you, Greg, the other Greg. He was mentioning that for like Vardorvis, it'll be Bis, and he says he would save 11 hours over 10,000 kills, which I don't know if that seems like a lot. I guess like an hour every 1,000 kills. It's something, but not like game breaking or anything. But for me, it'll be basically these, because I already have bandos, so it'll be like having bandos with free slash bonus. So for sure, for me, it's good. I also heard that for Nightmare, it's good if you don't have any Inquisitors. So maybe for like Irons that are starting off Nightmare, they can use that with Scythe until they get their Inquisitor pieces and then swap over to in Crush. So that is cool too. Good niche there. And also for Duke as well. I don't know if I missed anything else. Do you know, Greg, if it's good anywhere else?
Duke and Vard was the main thing I could think of. I'm also thinking of probably Tob for Verzik, because you can't drain any defense. I don't know the calcs. I'm sure someone's already done it, but those are like the 3 things I think of.
Sure, for Tob, it'll be good. But yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, we were kind of expecting like slash melee armor eventually, so I'm glad they didn't make it like equivalent to Torva or something, where like Torva's irrelevant. But yeah, cool. I dodged that question. All right, so the next thing they mentioned. Anything else you want to discuss before I?
No,
cool.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So they also mentioned a DMM, which I was expecting leagues to be mentioned in Runefest, but DMM as well. So that is cool for the PKers. Should give them some content to stop complaining for a couple months at least. But I'm not gonna do DMM. Do you guys play DMM, friend and JT?
Just for the cosmetics on the most previous one, and I'll probably just keep doing that.
No, I have zero interest in PKing. I hate that community.
Maybe I should try it, honestly. Like I never tried DMM, so I tried it once actually when I was a Billy Bob, but I died like really fast and then I just logged out.
I had a buddy who got his first start with like real GP, like getting rich from DMMs, because he would spend like a few weeks figuring out the best, like most efficient way to make money, and then he would like, I guess they do swapping.
Yeah, they do.
And he would swap GP for like OSRS GP. He was making like, it was like a 1 mil in Deadman mode was like 10 to 15 mil in the normal game. So that's how he was making his money.
That is cool. I've heard of players doing that too. Like they log in, get the free 10k from Stronghold, and then swap it for like a mil or something. Never log back in on release day.
Yeah, the streamers buy your 10k. I think the most recent one they're buying for like 15 mil, like the first hour.
15 mil? What?
Yeah. Super appealing to, your random level 50 who has full rune. He just gets a free 15 mil.
That's huge, actually. But I'm kind of surprised. Like, I guess for them, like the money they can invest it and try to like multiply it on the release day and then swap it back or something. But that's kind of cool. I didn't know it was that much.
It's a very small amount of people that do that. Like, I'm thinking like Oda Block as the main guy, obviously with so much money.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care. So maybe that's just inflated then.
Yeah.
He's so rich.
But like after the first couple hours, I think that drops to like a couple mil.
It's kind of cool.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention. ADHD moment here. Just to hop back because I don't have a lot of mentality to like focus on DMM. But Yama, right? They mentioned that the soul armor was going to have a cosmetic effect, like a cosmetic kit, just like Blood Torva, for like when you contract it up and you make it much harder as an aspirational content. Do you guys have any interest of like what difficulty level you'd like to see? Are you thinking like Awakened Leviathan tier or something harder than that, or like what's your hope for that?
Can they even do something harder than Leviathan Awaken? Like
Of course they can.
I think they can, yeah.
Monka, dude, that was hard as shit.
I think that first KC is a huge mountain to climb, but I mean, I've seen people who've killed it a couple hundred times. Once you get comfortable in the enrage phase, it gets kind of like second nature. I mean, obviously they're some of the best people in the game, but
Yeah, like the biggest gamers, like settled, right? I'm sure he did like 28 of those kills in one inventory, right?
Maybe we shouldn't talk about that, dude.
Oh yeah, my bad.
love the guy,
Port
but
Kazar did like 27 in one inventory. That was crazy. Watch that.
I think that was Noob Type who wasn't even in the voting.
I don't know. Those guys are insane, and I just
Okay,
to me the
let's just fuck it. We'll talk about it. That best PVMer in the game award was just a popularity contest. I'll just say it. Sorry.
yeah, truly, it's so weird to me, and like nothing had settled. Like he's done so many amazing things to bring people to the game.
No, he's the best gun creator in RuneScape. Like, there's no contest.
Oh, of course, because he brings so many people who don't watch RuneScape to watch RuneScape content. But that, like, he's not somebody that anybody thinks of when they think of, oh yeah, who's like a giga gamer in RuneScape? No one is name dropping Settle.
It was funny because like the other three people were all better PVMers than Settled, and they all lost over him. I think it was like Odablog, Mutz, and Port Kazard, sorry. Like they're all better PVMers. Like I'm sorry, Settled, but and even I think he admitted it. Like when he took the award, he was like, "I'm surprised I won against all these gamers."
Yeah, like
we all were.
Three of those four people have done GM, and I'm not saying like doing GM is a hard thing, but it's like the only person who's never done it is the person who won. I just laughable.
But it's all good. I mean, we know who the true PVMer chads are, so.
Yeah, I mean, Port's not losing sleep over losing it. He knows
he's cracked. Not at all. That man is a gamer.
Actual beast. Was he the first one to get the 500 Toa kit?
I don't remember. I know
like, some crazy strats, like swimming in the water for Z-Bag.
I thought that was his first.
That's like a 350 or something.
I thought that was the first 600 or whatever that he did, where he was swimming in the water to tick-eat everything in the corner.
Yeah, that's what he was doing, and like venging or something.
Yeah, I think that was the first 600.
I don't recall. It's been a long time. 2 years ago, actually. All right. I mean, that actually segues perfectly into the next topic. They mentioned that they're planning to do raids 4 in 2026, which honestly I was hoping they would mention raids 4 in Runefest, but I didn't actually think they would. So that was a shock to me. But it felt like they had to like, maybe I get the wrong feeling, but it felt like they just like wanted to mention something hype, and they just like mentioned raids 4 and moved on quick. But I'm assuming they also mentioned that they haven't started developing it yet at all.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why. It's just conceptual right now.
So, what do you guys... So actually, what should raids 4 be, and what do you guys expect? Like, you know, let's just jump straight into it. That's a big topic, especially for us three. We all love raids. One of us here also completed raids fully. Easy. Fourth Iron Man to do it.
Yep, JT, big man.
Shut up. Just over here with my first Mega Rare that I got 2 weeks ago, just
like smiling.
I raid, yes.
Yo, but there was a UIM that finished all raids. I was really surprised. Like green logging all raids.
Oh yeah, the Aussie.
The Finance King, I think it was. Like I was looking at the real one sheet to see like how I'm faring in terms of like being fourth to finish, and I'm like, oh wait, a UIM finished? Like what? And there wasn't
it hurts.
Anywhere. But yeah, so Raids 4. Anyone would like to kickstart the discussion? Quite a big topic though.
I don't know. Greg's going to be the person who finishes the 4th raid first, so why don't we ask him?
I'm just like when I think of raids 4, the two things I think of is one, what's the big item going to be, and two, what's the location of it. And I can't think of an answer to either of those two right now. Like this seems just like so up in the air that I don't even know what to think at this point. Like I can't see an upgrade to the Shadow, T-Bow, or Scythe ever happening in the next couple years, just because those are already still stupid overpowered. And when I try and think of what the next big item would be, I have no answer. So I have no thoughts. I'm sorry, that was a long way to say I don't know.
What if it's
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
I said I don't know. What if there's like introducing so many different mechanics and different like interesting ways to approach pieces of content lately that I'm thinking, what if it's finally something that they want to do is, I don't know, Justy or make defense matter? Like, what if we get a shield, like a new best in slot offhand that also gives you a fantastic defense? Something along those lines. I think it would be really cool to see people running around with some big ass shield in their offhand, other than just everybody running around with a fucking Avernic, which I think is difficult for them to do because of the way the Avernic like compares with or combines with the combat achievements. But I don't know.
For the location, I think it'll be something related to sailing. I think that's like a given. So either like an island you have to sail to that you access with a certain sailing level, and then you have raids 4 there.
Oh no, the twisted boat.
But the item, I like the shield idea. I think that's a cool option. I was thinking of something like a 2-tick weapon, whether that be mage or melee 2-tick weapon. I think that would be really cool. I mean, obviously, you already have the range equivalent with the blowpipe, but like a mage 2-tick weapon could be cool for Nilos. But maybe even have similar DPSs to Shadow. But given the attack speed, it's good for finishing off. It's low health, or if there's low health monsters, you can use that instead of the Shadow. That's my idea for a weapon, but obviously it's hard to compete with the Shadow, Scythe, and T-Bow meta. Those are.
I liked the Heka.
The heck was
awesome.
awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah, I thought like if they were gonna do something, or if they wanted to make like another 4-tick mage weapon or something, and instead of it, I know the Heka had, depending on what you were using it with, had its different abilities. Like I don't know if you're on like Lunars or something like that, your mage weapon, like healing somebody as the projectile passed through them. I don't know. I just think that there's like things that they tried to do with creativity with that weapon. I'm really sad it didn't join like or get into the game. So. I hope they revisit something like that.
All right. And how about the raid itself? Like, they've already done 3 iterations of raids, so hopefully they learn from those mistakes, I guess, and build off the best raid, which is a very controversial statement, but I personally hope it's something that's closer to Tob in terms of like raid layouts, but also closer to Toa in terms of flexibility on being able to change invocations, for example, and less puzzle rooms, of course. That's
a wild statement.
Of course,
that's a wild statement. Go for it. What's your take on this, JT?
Dude, I hope I never see another invocation in my entire life. I hate that concept. I hate everything about Toa. I think it's really good that it's accessible, cool, fantastic, but it took accessibility and it became way too accessible. The content was too easy to get drops. It was too easy to learn. Like, I'm sorry, but the way 300s are right now, I think realistically, like experts shouldn't even have started until 400 at minimum.
Yeah, but that's
I think
like I like the fact that you can do a 150, but also do a 500. But I do agree there was issues in terms of the purple chance. It was way too common. They should have put it closer to Tob, but that's a difficulty in them balancing content with gamers and.
My primary issue with Toa is the fact that if I do 4 hours of Toa, I feel mentally exhausted. Like my brain is just goop. I could do 15 hours of Tob and be happy and enjoy the entire session. Toa just fucking drains my brain. I feel like every tiny mistake you're over punished for just feels bad. I think the biggest thing for me with Raids 4 is I would like to be able to solo it. I think that I think Tob is probably one of the best raids for sure, but not my favorite. I think Chambers takes the cake. I think everything about Chambers just makes me smile. But yeah, I like the solo ability of it.
I don't think I don't remember who, but someone mentioned it. They spoke to like one of the J mods, and their idea was that the raid is soloable for raids 4, but not the meta. The teams would be the way to go.
Edge.
Which I kind
I
of
like
prefer
that
teams.
personally.
Yeah, me too. The team finding portion might be difficult, but that's why you just find a good clan that has people doing the content, and you can just join them. But yeah, it's quite a challenge for them to do a raids 4. I'm really excited for it, and I hope it hits the mark perfectly, because I will be going for 2K cape there for sure, and I hope there's a 2K cape as well. Surely.
What do you want to see from there? Like what is like name? What are 3 pieces of gear that you would like to see come into the game from Raids 4?
I want 2-tick mage weapon, 2-tick melee weapon. I think those would be cool. And your shield idea is a cool concept too. Maybe that could be an option if they want to go with defense. But I feel like defense in this game is it'll be very hard to make it worth. Most players prefer a high offense. You know, a good offense is a good defense. So
the new raid is in a swamp, and we get lizards. You have a 2-tick lizard now. It does all 3 styles.
But they could also add like imagine if they added like a new, like instead of the blessing, you could have a blessing that gives you like, you know, offensive bonuses, or you know, they could really reshape the entire. They can rethink outside the box essentially, or even like a new slot. Like
you just described arrows.
That's for range, but yes.
Yeah, well, it goes in your blessing slot. No, I feel you.
But it's hard, yeah. There's typically the raids have a mega rare on each specific style that is based on what the raid you use more of. Like for Chambers, you range a lot. Toa, you mage, and Cabo, you just melee. But
yeah, I liked I wish they would do something more with defense. I really do think that like I feel like they tried in Nightmare with whoever has like the highest defense is
tanks,
the tank.
Yeah,
I think like those concepts. I wish they would explore more into it, because it would give places like Justy upgrades a place to sit in the game where they have a purpose.
Yeah, the problem with Justy is that except for the side effect bonus, it's the same defense as Torva.
Yeah, but so what if what if the new raid were to be in the, I don't know, also near Mori, and it gives you like a combination item that lets you combine one piece of Justy and one piece of Inquis, and you get like this new upgraded version of Inquisitors that has the defense of Justy, and then have all the same strength bonuses as Torva. So they would have to just increase the strength bonuses of Ink Helm.
So that you're telling me I can skip next? I'm in.
Yeah, Torva's dead.
It's tough. But I mean, I'm sure they're not gonna just whip out a raid. They're gonna be suggesting a bunch of different ideas, and then we can vote on them. But I'm intrigued to see what they come up with. Not an easy task. That's definitely gonna be very challenging. And I hope they put some good J mods on there too for that project.
Yeah, if they have any sort of like any way to provide feedback, like polls or surveys or anything, I would love people to get involved in that, because I know they read those, but not a lot of people fill them out. So when they're building a new raid, and I know a lot of people hate TOA, I think we got to be very vocal about that and tell them, you know, hey, we don't want invocations, we don't want this and that. So as long as we're very involved in it, I think it'll be pretty good. Fingers crossed again.
You also have to remember that for Jagex, Toa was a massive success because it had such a high player count and raid completions, and so.
I hope they don't think of it just in that metric. But if they do that, that's awful.
Yeah. Because I remember, I think like on the second week of Toa release, there was more completions overall in Toa than like top. It was really crazy. It was
Yep.
like millions of completions. Am I
Yep.
remembering that right, JT? Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Which is
Yeah.
nuts because Top
Dangerous.
is
Like
out for
Toa
years.
was in my opinion, one of the biggest failures as far as a content release.
Not to the
I,
management's eyes.
not to the management's eyes, yeah, but it is our fourth best raid, and we only have 3. So
What's
it's
the
like,
third then?
I'd rather go do Fosanis. Like, hand to God, I would rather do Fosanis than do Toa. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really good that it's accessible, and it was fun to like be able to do content with my friends that aren't like in great gear or they're on like a lower level Iron Man. But the issue is that the Fang was just ridiculously good, and the Shadow is just ridiculously good. So the Shadow, they've like, what's the word for that? Is it keyhold? They've kind of like pushed themselves into this fucking spot where mage upgrades are scary now because they have this item that fucking doubles the bonus and then
Yeah,
triples it inside of
triples.
Toa. Yeah, like that's
Quadruples with Toa.
absurd. Yeah, like
Yeah,
they've now put themselves in this position where it's so easy to get power creep with just the shadow.
any new gear upgrade for mage just triples because of the shadow. Hence why the new amulet proposal would be like really OP. Like Jaya was doing the calcs, you'd gain 4 max hits from that one amulet.
Yeah, I can't believe they nerfed the occult to just give us it back.
crazy.
It's funny because they nerfed the occult, they buffed augury to compensate, but they made augury not actually work properly with the shadow, so it doesn't actually triple augury. It like
It's just a flat value,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Because otherwise it would be like way too OP. Which is kind of funny. That just shows you how broken the shadow is.
But anyway, new Blood Moon quest. Thoughts, excitement. What are you guys feeling?
I am not a fan of quests, but
Dude.
we'll
Hot
see.
take.
Dude, that's such a hot take. Go on, LGR. Explain to me why you hate fun.
Well, I mean, like I did Desert Treasure 2 on release day, and it took me like a lot of hours, and I got really frustrated with like the whisper section of it. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of quests. I just do them once and then never think of them again. Like the recent quest that came out for Tormented Demons, I literally did that quest 2 months after release with Quest Helper. That's how much I waited. I was
I
solving
remember you not having
masters.
your music cape and being
Yeah,
just angry.
I was solving masters, and Marnie was like, "What are you doing, bro?" And I was bringing all the items for Fallow, running to Fallow. Oh man, fucking funny. Yeah.
I think for me, when I think about quests, like the thing me and my friends have been doing for the past couple of years is for these big quest releases. I think most of us would like take off work and we just sit in voice chat and work on it together.
Yep.
And for me, that's created a lot of good memories. Like I can still remember doing like Sins of the Father and stuff with my friends and like specific things that someone screwed up that are just like really funny. And for me, that's what I like about these quests. And I think other people do that too. But the smaller ones, I spacebar. I'm like, I don't care. But the big ones, I think, are pretty fun if you do them with people.
Yeah, we'll see what the quest is. I mean, I'm more curious about what we're gonna get from the quest. It's not just gonna be like a quest. I'm assuming we're gonna get rewards or access to new content. So that's what I'm more looking forward to.
Yeah, I just hope the fourth raid isn't there, so we don't have two like Mortania based raids. Which seems kind of boring, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think they're gonna do a second Mauritania raid. Maybe, but I don't think
Yeah.
so. Cool. So I think we did we went all over Runefest, and now we're 15 minutes deep. Not too shabby. So should we move on, or anything else you guys would like to discuss about Runefest?
No.
I don't know. I just hope it's in the U.S. one day or Canada, but it won't be.
That's massive cope, dude.
Yeah,
But that
UK
would be
based
cool.
company.
If they did it in the US or even Canada would be even better.
No, nothing about Canada is better than the US. What's wrong with you?
Whoa! Oh fuck! I'm
We gotta move
outnumbered,
on.
aren't I?
We gotta go.
Sorry. Anyway, cut to commercial. Cut to commercial.
So okay, I'll move on to the next topic. So this is a very controversial topic as well, which we love controversial topics. So stackable clues. So I have a few questions here. So I guess we'll go with the first one. So how should stackable clues be? Or maybe I should have reworded
Stackable.
that.
It should be stackable.
All right, next question. But like, my question is more about like is it infinite? Is it limited? Does it increase over time? Is it like a reward? Like, imagine if Raids 4 drops you like a certain scroll that you read and now you can stack clues infinitely, you know? Like, how would it work? Or maybe it gives you a scroll that every time you read it, you can stack 5 more clues and it goes up to infinity. Like, what are we thinking here? I just threw a bunch of information. Does anyone want to try to untangle that?
Wait, what was the last suggestion you had?
Imagine if I'm just cooking, okay? I just want you guys to know I'm cooking.
I'm trying to let you cook, but
imagine if it dropped. Imagine if like a raid or a boss drop you like a certain item or scroll that when you read it, you can stack 5 more clues on top of your cap. So if you buy like 100 of those scrolls, you can stack 500 clues.
I don't like the way you're implementing it, but I like the idea.
Ooh.
I think imagine scroll books, right?
Yeah.
So I think if the item functioned like a scroll book, like you would randomly get it from clues that you accomplish, I think it'd be cool. And like, oh wow, instead of a scroll book, you got this thing that expands to your stackable clues. You can now do 5 more, and then it goes to infinity. Because personally, I think if we're gonna do stackable clues, just fucking do stackable clues. Let it be infinite. Because I feel like if you have just this arbitrary number of stackable clues, then it turns into, well, I'm gonna do these clues, or I'm just gonna stack these clues. Now I got 5. Time to go do my clue break. Like, I don't know. I would just rather have it be infinite, so that if one Saturday I just want to blow through a big chunk of my like stacked clues, I can go do that. I don't want it to be like this weird arbitrary number.
I agree with that too. I've seen people suggest like combat achievement tiers and stuff, but I really hate that because you get clues from skilling, you get them from PvM. I don't think they should be tied to one or the other. I think it should just be straight up unlimited for everybody. And yeah, nothing further than that.
Nice.
Cool. I mean, I would rather see it increase over time, to be fair, but I'm not opposed to it being infinite either. The only gripe I have with infinitely stackable clues is like those skillers that do 200 mil all and then finish with like 10,000 hard clues in the bank. Like, that for me is just crazy.
What's the downside of that?
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really affect me directly, but I just think that's kind of silly being able to stack that much.
Why? Like, what does it hurt you to have somebody stack, 150 clues instead of 10? Like, what? I guess I'm just trying to understand what the benefit is of having it be a growing number.
Because then you'd be pushing off solving your clues as long as you physically can until you actually want to solve them.
That sounds like a fun way to play the game, yeah.
But like I said, I don't care if it gets implemented to infinity.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna start crying. I'm gonna be actually happy. I'm gonna abuse the shit out of it. So.
Like, I don't think clues in the current state are a distraction and diversion. They used to be, but now a lot of people are just straight up grinding them through Iron Man or through imps and stuff. It's no longer the case. So I'm all for the unlimited stackable.
I think it'd be cool for stuff like thieving ham members. You just like sit there and thieve. Fills up, like they stack in one slot in your inventory and you just permanently stack them. That'd be nice.
Yeah, so how would your rogue's outfit work with them like it does in leagues?
That's what I really, really wish would happen.
Because that would be meta defining. That would make gnomes competitive with eclectics.
Yep. They'll make it even without having to sweat eclectics. But maybe that's a little too much. That's like a
No.
meta for hams.
No, that's good.
I mean, I'm
Anything to
okay
kill
with it.
eclectics.
I'm purposely not doing easies and mediums in case it gets devalued. So for me, that's like a massive bulk or buff, but I think it's too much of a cope. And how
What about
about the
1 hour
1 hour
timers?
timers? Yeah, we just jinxed each other. What the hell? Like, okay, so that's another thing too. I hope they don't touch that 1 hour timers. I love it. It's so fun for solving clues with all the secret text. But I have a feeling that if they do implement stackable clues, they're gonna remove the 1 hour timers, which would kind of suck for like the clue specific gamers that are like grinding clues. Like I'm just thinking of Wiki, like for him that he's gonna start crying because it just devalues his clue solving speed.
I personally think it's good. I think bidding the 1 hour timer is a positive thing. I like it. It's convenient. But it doesn't really mesh with everything else in the game. If that makes sense. Like it's just a weird, like I don't know. It was just a weird implementation of this 1 hour timer. Like what else? What else do you drop on the ground that has a 1 hour timer?
Good
It's
question.
nothing.
I guess UIMs when they die.
That's the only thing that it aligns with. It's just weird to me. Like I'm a big fan of all the metas, like the metas that have come with it, and I think we're deep in the rabbit hole where people would be upset if it goes away. But if you have infinitely stackable clues, I don't see the drawback of removing it other than keeping a shit like what is it, the piety step or whatever, chivalry step is kind of binned. That'd be really annoying. All right, yeah, never mind. No, it wouldn't because the annoying part of it would be raids. So you just get a stackable clue anyway. Yeah, I don't know. 1 hour timers, they can stay, they could go. I don't care either way, but it's just weird to me. The mechanic doesn't make sense. It doesn't align with other things in the game.
I agree, it's weird, but I love it. I got way too addicted to it in the last like it was released in I think April of last year. So it's been 11 months. We've been having this OP mechanic for clues solving. I'm a massive fan of it. The new metas that's been discovered from it makes clue solving, especially elites, really fun. And I mean, if they decrease it to like 10 minutes or something, that'll be fine too. They don't have to leave it at an hour.
What if they just pulled it?
I think if they pull it, do you think it would pass or fail?
Well, does anything fail?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe that would not pass. I don't know.
I think it'll pass. Like the majority of players have no idea about these metas for like master clue, like the three steppers and all this stuff, and like the elite clue stuff. So they'll either skip the question or vote yes because they don't care. And then the people that know what's going on, they'll vote yes, just so they can keep their Sherlock step. But
Yeah, I actually made a video about the metas like a couple months ago, and I was surprised of how many people didn't actually know those were all a thing. But I guess if you're
yeah,
not in like the collection log Discord or like you don't DM Wiki on a daily basis, you're probably not aware of these niche clue metas that are very, very niche.
nah, I brought it up to the Discord of friends, and they're slowly starting to adapt it. I know a lot of them now have a good master clue to skip their three stepper. So I'm proud of them in that regard. But yeah, they had no idea, and they're all like GMs and stuff. So not super known.
Yeah, that master one is probably the biggest time save, the
Mm-hmm.
cryptic triple juggling. Cool. Anything else you guys would like to talk about for? Oh, also, how should it be stackable? Should it be exactly like leagues? Is it like a scroll? Not a, what is it? What's it called in leagues? It's not a scroll box. It's
Yeah, scroll
a
box.
scroll
Yeah, it should
box.
just be exactly. If they're gonna do it, they just need to port it over from leagues. Don't waste any more time, thought, etc. Just bring it over. Put it in the main game.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be as well. I know
Yeah,
like
it works
Wiki
fine
was
like
like
that.
cooking on some crazy like, but I'm not gonna go into that. That's for Wiki to explain one day. Episode 2 featuring Wiki. Cluecast. Okay, sorry, I'm diverging. But yeah, I think it should be copy pasted from leagues. That's the easiest solution. I was thinking of like if it was like it was infinitely stackable, but the clues would take like an inventory space each. But then I realized like that could be very broken. Like if you have the same step clue with its stack in the bank because it stacks on the floor. And then could you like stack a bunch of hards, pick up like 20 of the same hard step, kill the like mage guy 20 times in a row, just like dig, kill, solve all those clues. Like it could be really, really weird. So that's probably not worth it, even though that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, sorry, cooked even harder.
Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the one of my buddies, Hunty, told me a proverb like, it's better to copy something right than do it yourself and screw it up. And I use that proverb at work now. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next one. So the next topic here is the future of Clog. So I kind of just wrote that down. And so the first topic on here is what future Clog updates can we expect? So we had the Clue High scores really recently. Do we think we're going to get anything else for the collection log in the future, near future, or distant future?
No.
Cool. Next question. Greg? Same.
Yeah, I don't see anything else coming. The only thing I would hope for one day, and I think this is impossible, is to be able to view someone's collection log on the official website.
Yeah.
But they don't have the web power for that.
Yeah, so I actually asked Madash about that. And his response to me is that the web dev team is entirely different, and they don't have the functionality or the interest of expanding it right now. Because I was asking about specifically an API too, so that we could pull that data and utilize it for plugins. But from what he said to me, there's no intention of that anytime soon.
That's unfortunate. That's exactly
seems like a
what
big project.
Yeah, a lot of work too, and I guess like in a sense, like I know like a long time ago with the collection log Discord and website, some people were against showing their clogs there because they didn't want to make themselves targets. Like if you show your raids log and you have 14 T-bows, that could maybe put hackers wanting to try to get your account because they know you potentially have a lot of money. But for me, I'd rather see people's collection log because it's interesting, and especially recently with the collection log website kind of going belly up because the person who codes it is very much MIA. So
yeah, Temple does have a semi-functional thing right now that's not entirely public. I did post it in the Log Chasers clan chat, which is pinned there if you want to view your stuff. And the way that's coded is it pulls from the collection logs website's API and it imports it into Temple and saves it there. So it was actively being worked on. Right now it's kind of at a standstill because the PoE 1 league came out and the person who runs Temple is a big PoE degenerate. So that's been his primary focus right now. But I think he just died yesterday on the hardcore league, so he might be back to it today.
He's back.
Yeah.
Was it you, friend? Did you kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention that Temple thing. I didn't know if you want to keep it under wraps, but I'm really excited for that. Very cool concept to be taken over by Temple guys. Very good team there, so. Cool. The next topic here I have is Iron Man devaluations. So there's been a lot of devaluations in the past for Irons, and of course we're 3 Irons here, so we can talk about it. But I wanted to know what future devaluations you guys could potentially foresee and that concerns you.
I think one thing I'll say first off, I'm not concerned about devaluation at all. I think it shouldn't be a concern for Jagex whenever they update stuff. Just table that completely. Like people are gonna get devalued because the game's just gonna keep getting easier. So just gotta swallow that pill and move on. But I'm thinking like just from an Iron Man perspective and something super endgame is crystal keys. It's very hard to obtain them right now. I think like 6 per hour from the Range Archaeologist is the current amount you can get. And it's not an expensive item. I think at some point some boss is just going to drop a couple for no reason. This impacts almost nobody just because it's like the end game people like myself, because at some point I'm just going to be killing Gorax for those log slots. So I see the crystal keys happening in the future, but I'm not concerned about it because, yeah, like I said, I think this game should continue to devalue older players. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, fun
Yeah.
fact about that, by the way, Barter has 6,500 keys opened.
Oh
He's
my
still
god.
missing, I don't know if he's missing 1 or 2 items, but he's been doing Gorax on mobile at work for the last year.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot of expertise here to weigh in. Like, I've played since 2017, and I started my Iron Man in 2021, right? So I haven't really played that long. And personally, I think the hot take, I don't give a fuck about devaluation. I don't. It's a video game. Um, to me, like, my accomplishments in the video game are for like short-term dopamine, and I like that in RuneScape they stay kind of permanently. I've achieved it. I don't care if it becomes easier to achieve as time progresses. That's just kind of life. That's the cycle of video games. Um, I don't think people should be concerned about, well, the personal accomplishment of me doing this T-bow that took me 1,200 hours. It should take everybody 1,200 hours because that's just the way T-bows go. I just don't think preserving things that aren't fun for the sake of like um, rarity or like this achievement is good for the game, personally.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the mindset behind devaluation is a little cringe. Like Browntree, I was talking to him recently, and he's like, to ask me like he doesn't know what to do in game now, and I'm like, just do like Whisper, and he's like, yeah, but new Mage Gear coming out soon, and I'm like, oh, okay, so do this, and he's like, oh yeah, but like this, and I'm like, dude, with that mentality, just log out, bro. Just wait a year and come back. Like, just don't play the game. It's gonna get devalued.
Yeah, you're waiting 6 months to save 5 hours. Like it's nothing.
Like even Greg, the slash armor for 10,000 Vardorvis is 11 hours. Like that's not crazy compared to what, like 400 hours or 300 hours of Vardorvis. Like, but yeah, I fully agree. Just play the game, man. Don't worry about devaluations. My devaluation cope is medium and easy clues for irons and also corp, but I think that's just very much copium, or like me just trying not to do it or finding a reason not to do it.
Yeah. I think devaluation is scary in some aspects for some skillers. So I can understand like mining rate changing from 125k to 150k is a loss of like 300 hours to 200 mil. Like that's a substantial amount of time. To be fair, like losing 300 hours does suck for people. But I don't think it should be like this. It's a made up number, right? I guess is what is probably the best perspective to have, is that you're not really losing 300 hours. You spent that time doing the thing you were enjoying doing. Just 3 hours, those 300 hours didn't just vanish. Like it's not gone. It's a made up arbitrary number. Prioritizing fun in the moment, I think, is the most important part. So whatever accomplishes that.
Yeah, well said. I guess, yeah, for skillers it's definitely different because there's like only 23 skills, soon 24, so like a devaluation has a very higher impact. But I'm looking for example, like for clues, for example, like elite clues. If a new meta comes out, that's a massive devaluation, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But that's just an example. But that's mostly for like really, really endgame cloggers that are clue locked, which is not us, for at least for me, for a very long time. Maybe less so for you, Greg, but
That impacts like 5 people.
yeah.
And even if it's devaluing your time, it like almost everybody in the game still needs to get stuff from elite clues. So it'll just save you more time in the future. If you're thinking about the 2,000 clues you did in the past and getting mad about it, then that sucks. But going forward, you're gonna have an easier time. So
Cool. Another concern I have too about the evaluation is clue solving. Like if, for example, Stackable Clues removes the 1 hour timer. Like imagine doing Titans where you can only stack 5 clues and you don't have the 1 hour timer. So you do like an hour of Titans and then you have to BRB 20 minutes. I have to solve my 5 hard clues. You know, that could be very awkward for doing Titans.
that feels very bad to do that. Like nobody wants that. So I don't think they'll do that.
But we'll see. Okay, and then the next question here is gear creep progression. So I guess the example of mage gear coming out and making mage even stronger. But I don't know what exactly to talk about here. I guess what's your projections? Do we think we're gonna get a lot more mage gear after the new amulet, or is Jagex gonna chill and add more range gear, more melee gear? Like, what do we sense in the future apart from what's obvious?
I think for mage gear specifically, they're probably gonna skirt around the magic damage thing just because of shadow. So I think they're gonna look for different ways to buff weapons in between that. I think elemental weakness is a good thing they could build off of, and just like you'll keep your shadow as your best DPS option in certain scenarios, but they'll work on, I don't know, some niche things like maybe increasing like attack speed or something for new weapons, or nothing related to magic damage, but like just completely avoiding that number entirely to like fill in the gaps for magic. Because I mean, right now it's pretty bad.
Well, Greg, did you see one of the polls that they had for that cape? Is they were going to change it to be an untradeable cape, and then they were also going to add the effect that with 4 tick, or with any mage weapon that you use, it increases your max hit by 2. So you can't hit zeros anymore, but you will hit a 2.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
was trying to
sense?
think of what it was. Yeah, exactly. Like minimum hits. That's
Yeah,
one thing
so
they can
like
do.
that's a really cool way to increase your DPS on those faster weapons without buffing the shadow at the same time. I thought that was a really cool mechanic that I'm kind of sad was binned.
Yeah, it's a very good alternative, actually.
They absolutely have to build off that. Like, it's a perfect solution, really.
Yeah, I have zero fear of gear creep or power creep or whatever you want to call it as far as like progression. I think if the last 8 months to a year is like a testament to anything, it's that the dev team has been really, really good and focused at not making these new best in slot things that are good everywhere, just making these niche items. And I think that the Scorching Bow is a great example of that. Where it is really good at Zammy now if you want to chill and like kind of relax, but I don't think the kills per hour are better than a shadow.
It's from what Greg told me, the shadow is 34 kills an hour, but the scorching bow is 33 kills an hour. So it's
Yeah.
slightly worse, but like 10 times more chill, which is
Yeah,
a
so I
very good alternative.
I love seeing those things come into the game. I think it's super positive. So I think they've done a really good job of saying, hey, we noticed that we want to add gear upgrades, and this would be an upgrade for majority of people, but the best in slot is still best in slot. But here's a really, really good alternative that's either less costly or less intensive to utilize. So I'm excited for whatever they bring to the game.
Cool. All right. So I guess that covers that. Anything else you guys would like to add, or can we move on?
I'm good. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this next section is just a question spree. So I basically just like in the CC, I asked, hey, I'm doing a LogCast. Any questions you guys would like to see? And I wrote some of the cool ones down. So We'll start with the first one, which was by Swerve. So the importance of momentum, micro, macro efficiency. So I think, and hopefully I understood this correctly, what he means is how to play to complete the clog in a macro efficient mindset. So for example, the easiest example is when you're doing those ancient pages, you're doing it while grinding the dragon full helm. That way you get those pages 0 time. That's like the first example that comes into my head. So, I mean, I don't know what more to talk about here, to be fair.
I mean, I guess it depends on the kind of person you are. Like some things feel good to, you know, efficiently go for, like you said, like the ancient pages, but some of those things, as soon as they start feeling like bad to do, you should just stop doing it. Like if your goal is to get as many clogs as possible and you're trying to build this best path forward, like only doing Slayer tasks for like the Slayer logs and stuff like that, and it's starting to weigh on you a little bit, you just got to give up. Like if you want to complete the game, the best way to do it is to do it in a way where you feel motivated. And if you're just getting burnt by the way you're trying to play efficiently, then that's just going to harm you in the long term. So
Yeah,
to have fun meta, I support it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not macro efficient whatsoever. Sorry, JT, go for it.
Oh, don't apologize at all, man. I think don't apologize, man. You're good. I'm in a big agreement here. So I think that if you're going to spend 80, like do VM for example, and you're going to get 85 to 90k mining XP an hour, but you're going to do that for 11 hours while like watching movies with your friends in Discord, in comparison to spending 6 hours doing 3-tick granite, like, and then not play for 2 days because your fucking hand hurts. I think doing VM with your friends and enjoying your time is way more important than just trying to do every single time you're logged in is the most efficient time possibly spent. Um, I think some of the biggest like degenerates I know that play the game, who have played it super long and never burn and progress really well, are the people who just don't give a fuck about like, am I spending my every minute logged in as the most efficient way possible? I don't know a lot of people who've played this game super long who do that, personally. But I think momentum is really important. I think especially with how easy it is for people to get burned out. I think goal setting and talking about your goals on a regular basis or sharing your progression is really important. So, like prime example, in like the clan area here, we have the goals channel and like an updates channel for people to post, and I think that's really important for people to maintain that momentum as a way to solidify their goals and share with everybody. So I think goal setting is probably the biggest thing in keeping momentum and not burning out of RuneScape. But pretty much all I got there.
Yeah, agreed.
Very well said. Okay. Trying to think if I have anything else to add here, but I don't think I do. You basically covered it. So, all right, next one. This is from Purple Thorax, LGR when Torva, and my answer is after I greenlog chambers. However long that takes. All right, next question. Damn Daniel asked, Helm of the Moon thoughts. I know we all spoke about this before in the cast, and just for more information, I did the math on this like a week and a half ago, and the moon rate is 3,500 hours as of today. Obviously, that excludes Varlamore Part 3. Maybe that'll make it faster, maybe not. And the main part that's difficult is the PvM portion of the key. That portion is around 2,500 hours. The skilling portion of the key is relatively faster at around 800 hours. And that is chopping teaks in Varlamore. And that assumes that you're AFKing it. Of course, you can probably get faster rates if you tick manipulate it, but I'm not going to assume that because I have a life. But yeah. So what do you guys think about that? It should be on the collection log, first of all.
Yeah, I love the Helm of the Moon. I think it's so cool.
Me too. Greg?
Should definitely be on there for sure. I've talked about it before, but I hold the opinion of like everything unique in this game should be on there, like from all sources. Like
Agreed.
anything you get from one source should be on the log, because the log should never be completable, and I think that should have been the thought when it was created. So like skipping items just because they take a long time is not a good thing. So everything should be on there, including the helm. And I would go for it. Like, I know it's 3,500 hours, but I'll do it.
What'd you do this year? Well, I got Helm of the Moon.
It took a whole year, but
but could you imagine though, like going 3x rate? Like going 3x rate on something is not absurdly uncommon.
Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like
dude,
10,000
like
hours.
that would be insane.
Like even if you play 5,000 hours a year, which is like a shit ton of hours, you're still taking you 2 years to get that moon helm.
Why does that guy have 52,000 KC at Huey? Oh, he's grinding Helm of the Moon right now.
Yeah, I'm if it was on the log, I would grind it actually, but since it's not on the log, I don't want to go for it just yet. I would probably start with the skilling portion now and wait for Varlamore Part 3 though, just in case it gets devalued. But I know a guy, I think it's barcoding. He's AFKing the, I forgot what the name of the mining thing is, but the thing you mine for bone shards. He's AFKing that, and he has like 130 of the, I think it's a loop half for the skilling portion.
Oh my goodness.
Which,
of course Andy's doing that. What a crazy little dude.
Which is kind of cool. He said he's going for 200 mil mining, so he's just like collecting that passively, which I respect a lot, by the way. That's kind of cool. I know Camping Online is also going for the Moon Helm, but he's just AFKing Teaks and like trying other things. The wiki announced the rates a few weeks ago, but apparently some of the rates were wrong, and they adjusted it since. But yeah, very cool item. I really hope they add it to the log one day. That'd be sick. I know a lot of cloggers would get upset, but so what? In retrospect, 3,500 hours is nothing compared to Third Age and so on. Cool. Alright, I guess I'll go to the next question. The implication of sailing if it's a disaster by Seamoors? So I kind of already talked about this actually from the sailing portion. I don't know if there's anything else you guys would like to add on this question.
No.
I think it'll be bad if it fails, but that's obvious.
Yeah, I already mentioned that, so kind of forgot about that. Okay, Swerve asks, can you explain the great PC crash of 2024? That was really embarrassing. So this is actually technically LogCast episode 1.5, but the first episode my PC crashed in the middle of the episode and I lost all the footage. So that was very depressing, to say the least. That would have been a very good podcast. You weren't on it though, friend, were you? I don't remember.
No.
It was Novacy, Marnie, Valor, and Domas, which is pretty stacked podcast right there. But yeah, PC crashed. What can you do? I bought a new PC since.
Yeah, I would call it the PC acquisition of 2024. That's a more positive way to view it.
It's more optimistic. Yeah, I was really mad. I actually like screamed. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then I just got up, went outside, and started walking. Like 10 minutes. I was really mad. But happens. I had an old PC, so I was due for an upgrade. Alright, cool. Next one here by Curbsy. Thoughts on different drop mechanics of Desert Treasure 2 versus Moons. So I think he's talking about like, the ring rolls versus the drop protection and so on. So, would anyone like to kickstart this discussion?
Yeah, sure. I'll be negative about it. I thought DT2 was done terribly. I think that like I'm not even a game developer, and it's really easy to think, oh wow, okay, instead of having an invisible drop, we'll just give you an ingot, and there's your roll, and then you get another ingot, and there's your other roll, and then you get an ingot after that, and then you get a vestige with that ingot, and wow, you've completed the ring. If you wanted to do it, and obviously it kind of removes the need to have the ingots altogether, but I just think it's very annoying. DT2 was done poorly, and I do not like the way Moons is done. I don't like that you'll finish a set and then you have protection from dupes in that set for that period. I don't like that. I think they should have just done it the way they did Barrows, and that would have been much better. But
okay, I'm a little opposite than you. I think for Moons it was fine because it's like mid to low level, so dupe prevention was a good thing. At least for me, I liked it. I was able to greenlog that place in like 2 days. But I do agree with you on the DT2 portion though. The ingots was literally pointless. They could have just completely been that. And the invisible rolls I was not a fan of either. I think it just makes it like instead of being dry protection, it basically becomes spoon prevention, where you can, even if you spoon the vestige, you still don't get the ring as an iron because you need the ingots, and vice versa. If you spoon the ingots but don't get the vestige, then you don't get the ring either. Yeah, Greg, how about you?
Yeah, nothing about GT2 felt good in the drop rates. Like you said, spoon prevention is a bad thing. Like taking away your ability to get super lucky, because you're always gonna remember that one drop you got on like 1KC, and you don't get that at DT2. No one is that lucky. I mean, you can get it in like 20KC, which is insane, but taking away that spoon is pretty negative. And ingots, I don't even want to talk about ingots, man. Like the fact that they had to do this update recently where you can make an ingot just shows how bad that was.
Yeah,
like,
that was funny.
it's pretty stupid.
I don't know if you guys remember on release, like everyone was freaking out about not getting the rings, and they were like, Jajik's bugged in, and then the J mods were like, no, it's not bugged, we promise. And then the first guy got like the, I think it was the Bellator Vestige from Whisper at like 30 kill count or something. But like we didn't understand how actually spooned that was.
Yeah, day one was awful on social media.
Oh,
I actually got a day one vestige myself at Vardorvis. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
It's like one of the first couple ones in the game at like 200 something KC. Yeah. Which is super lucky. But yeah, I know everyone thought it was broken, and I know Reddit was a shit show, so
Yeah, it was a
bad
fun week.
update.
Are you still dry on all the DT2 pets, friend?
Yeah.
It's sad,
I
dude.
have one of them so far, but I went over 8, and I hit the drop rate for all the other 3, so.
What's your kill count on all 4 of them?
Like combined?
Like individually, I'm just curious.
Whisperer, I got that pet at 2300. Duke, I think I'm like 3800, no pet. Vardorvis, 3400, no pet. And Levy, I think I'm straight up just 2500.
That's rough. I remember you mentioned in like an old video that you wanted to go for all pets and DT2 for the next video.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, this is not
Yikes
panning
was like,
out.
Nope.
I was like, never mind.
That's rough.
Being named Greg and doing DT2 bosses is just bad RNG, I think.
Yes. Yeah, for reference, if nobody knows, someone, Greg, by the way, another super high ranked Iron Man clogger, is currently, I think, the driest for the Whisperer pet, which he got at like 11.7k or something.
Yep, he still has the driest.
Apparently, one guy is drier but hasn't gotten the pet yet, so he's safe for now.
Okay. So currently, as we're talking, he's the driest, and I think he just hit 10k Vardorvis, so
yeah, he did.
He's not having
fun. He's going hard though. What's his Vardorvis kill count now? 10.3k. He's
he passed Ginny yesterday.
Oh, that's rough, man. Poor Greg. All right, next question by Swerve. Accepting Maintainscape when being clue logged. So essentially, he's talking about players like Marnie and I was gonna say Domas, but he's technically not clue locked. But Marnie, Tortunama, Valor, those players are clue locked, which is a term that we use in the community where you complete the entire game besides for clues. So you're basically doomed to do clues for the rest of your life if you want to complete the collection log. And a lot of those players end up burning out. Like we were checking Temple before you joined JT with Friend, and Marnie's done 4 million woodcutting XP this week at Redwoods. So he's definitely toasted and just waiting for new updates. And when new updates drop, he greenlocks that in 2 days and then repeats the cycle.
Yeah, I would just quit.
Yeah, I mean, Tortunama changed to 200 mil all mindset instead, which I guess that's a good option as well. But so waiting for a better clue meta or something not in the wilderness, obviously.
Yeah, this topic is regarding 3 to 5 players in this entire game. Like, it's such a small group of people, and we've seen almost all of those couple people just burn out in their situation, which makes sense given how long it takes to get all these things. I think Tortu is a different beast just because he was born in Finland. He gets that buff where he's just cracked at everything and doesn't burn out. I don't know much about him, but the fact that he is grinding, skilling the way he is, and I've looked at his EHP and he's like really, really grinding. I don't know. I think he might have the strongest mental in this entire game of anyone that I know.
Dude, him and Carrie.
Yeah,
Carrie's mental is like insane.
And Jai as well. Those 3 all finished by the
all
way.
Finnish, like yes, all of them from Finland. Like I don't know what they put in the water there, but I might move.
It's actually macro efficient to move to Finland if you want to complete the collection log. Just remember that. But yeah, I don't know how they do it. I did like, you know, that one day during raids comp we did 40 CMs in a day, and like I basically just woke up, did CMs, ate food while CMing, and then went to bed. And the next day I just felt like that was weird. I don't know how to describe it.
I will say, Marty came and raided for that entire race comp.
Yeah,
and that was fun.
Blast, yeah.
Yeah, and he kept raiding the week after. He was raiding with Carrie and Ginny for a while. I mean, that was nice to see. I'm glad he had fun.
Yeah, he told us that he was having a lot of fun in that event. I was actually really surprised when he signed up as well. Fun event, by the way. Had a blast. All right. I guess we can go to the next topic. What activities are most worth for someone looking to clog? This question is by Damn Daniel, and I think he's more talking about like someone looking to start off clogging. Maybe JT, you're very suited with the cheat.
Dude, no way you just called me a noob.
Yeah, you're a noob. Why don't you answer this one?
Dude, come on, man. That's fucked up. Personally, I would say the activity advisor would probably be your best bet. But if you don't want to follow some bullshit cheat, just do whatever you find fun. Mini games are really easy slots. They're generally pretty fast. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Castle Wars is hundreds of hours." It's not. You could do 90% of all of Castle Wars log in 10 hours. Just mini games are really good slots, but just do whatever you find is fun and stick to it until you get majority of the items from it. It's not complicated. If you do want to follow the spreadsheet in the Log Chasers Discord, if you type in like was it ~advisor, it'll actually link you to an activity advisor spreadsheet that assigns times to anything missing from your log. So it's also a good way to do it.
Yeah, that's if you want to hunt like fast clogs as soon as possible. But like JT said, I would recommend just opening the minigame section. I would start with Shades of Morton personally. That's the first section I green logged when I was officially a clogger, and it was a lot of fun. It was chill. I was basically reading the wiki and just like doing one item at a time, and it was very satisfying to green log it. And that was like my gateway drug into collection log. But you can go do other sections as well.
Until you do like 400 black keys.
And I guess clues as well is a good start, especially like if you're a main, you can just buy implings. Maybe go for like 100 easies, 100 mediums, or pick a goal, do it. I would definitely recommend joining the collection log Discord once you hit the 900 mark. You can have a lot of fun there and follow the gamers. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Greg?
No, I think the advisor thing is good. If you haven't seen it before, it literally just gives you lists from the shortest amount of time to the longest amount of time to get an item you don't currently have. So that's the best way to see. But yeah, mini games are good. A lot of the stuff in the other section, I'm looking at things like Cam Dissolve and creature creation, stuff like that. Very free slots there. You can start with the easy things and just kind of leave the bossing and the raids till later. So pretty much just focus on clues, mini games, other section, and that's a good start.
There's also another thing that just came out, I think 2 weeks ago, for WikiSync. There's a plugin on RuneLite that you can download called WikiSync that will sync data from your account to the wiki. And the wiki actually has a collection log section. So if you WikiSync inside of your collection log, you can go to that wiki page and it'll show you can sort by the amount of people that have also completed that slot. So it'll give you kind of a data to see what easy slots you might be missing that many other people have already by completion percentage, just like you would in leagues for leagues tasks.
Yeah, very good shout. I actually forgot about that. Fun fact, the item that's on there that's the most common for me that I don't have is the Bofa.
That makes sense, yeah.
Guess most people get that pretty early on. I just did a skip because it didn't exist. Alright, cool. So the next question, or the last one by Dam Diano, which we already kind of touched on, but we can maybe dive a little bit more into, is the continuation of duo content. So we had the Titans, and now we're getting the I blanked out. Yama boss, which is going to be duo focused. So do you guys would you guys like to see more duo boss, or do you think we should stick to solo? What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. Keep it coming. I'm a big fan. and it might just be because I have shitty gear, but I just like the heavy reliance on contribution based content. Because if you're like trying to do content with some of your friends that are in max gear, it hurts you more than it helps you. So that always sucks if you have shitty gear and you're basically getting a 30% drop rate because your friend just has better gear than you.
Yeah, I think
Just my
Titans
one-off.
is static for the pet rate. So like, even if you have like a bronze dagger, As long as you kill the boss, you'll get a roll to the pet. But the uniques is actually contribution based, but I think that's a really cool concept. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's the all the topics done. I don't know if you guys would like to throw something last minute, or if we just end it here. Cricket noises, great.
I can't think of anything. My brain's cooked.
I mean, I'm really had fun here. I'd definitely like to do these casts more often. Maybe get some variety of guests from the clan, potentially even people that are not in the clan. I know I was talking to Wiki and he was be keen to see like an episode 2, just be like clue, only clues. Let's call it the Clue Cast, featuring Wiki, and we just talk about clues for 7 hours. But yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for attending, boys.
TY for cast.
TY for C. All right, well, that's the end of the LogCast, boys. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully we can see more of these in the future within the Log Chasers community. And yeah, that's a wrap. Any final words?
No.
Join the Log Chasers clan.
Or else.
You're good enough.
All right, peace.